They didn't want to go on before them or after them, or they figured it was over. But, you know, Sullivan, he says, oh, Ellen and Rossi, they'll go. So I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, what can I say or what can I do to get the attention of the kids? So I walked out and I said, hello there, I'm Ringo's mother. And they fell over. And I signaled Steve not to do the regular routine. He went right into, I want to hold your hand. I jumped in the audience, started dancing with the kids, and that was the reaction. And worked out, and they used this on the other two shots.
You're a great comedic mix. It must have been a great change to do a single, wasn't it?
It's a different kind of a feeling because I'm physically funny and I can move around a lot and do a lot of crazy things. But then when I was doing a single, I developed into a very unique time, a combination of physical and like the Newhart kind of humor, you know. And I did a lot of movies and I did a lot of television. I was very active on the screen where Steve went into production and did more producing in Las Vegas. I was very prominent on semi-regular on Hollywood Squares and talk shows.
Why the split, though, in the first place, Marty?
We really split very amicably. It was not a... in fact, Ken, we are the only team ever to split in a very nice manner. We just felt that the timing was now such that all variety shows were decreasing to an end, and I wanted to give myself a shot at other things and create personality, Marty Allen, as an individual.
We're talking with...
We did, and we just split up, and that's why when we came back together, there was no animosity, and we are the only team. I'll tell you, it must have worked because we had a report that Richard Nixon called Jerry Ford and said, let's give it another shot. We got a wire from D. Martin, Jerry Lewis, said, you must be kidding.
We're talking with Marty Allen, and we'll be right back.
Hi.
Marty Allen, who's, well, it's called a hook. It's Hello There.
Hello there.
You made that popular. In fact, if anybody hears that now, they think of you, I think.
Yeah.
That's important. That's important for a comedian.
Also forget the fact that I started the Afro haircut.
Yeah?
I was really the first one to walk around. I had one of the wildest haircuts. I was, in fact, as you know, Steve and I were brought together by the late, great Nat King Cole. And I used to work on the road with Nat. I was his comic. And people used to say to him, your comic is funny, but he's rather strange looking. And Nat said, well, we were in the Fiji Islands, and the chief gave him to me as a gift.
Yeah, there is really nobody physically that resembles you. That's good in a way. I'm wondering, who was your idol? Did you model yourself after anybody, Marty?
No, not in particular. I have favorites. I think Buddy Hackett is really a natural funny man. Shecky Green, and if I go along the line, Charlie Chaplin, and I think Gleason I love Gleason because he's able to adapt himself both to straight acting and to comedy.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes they tell beginning comics to find somebody that they like that doesn't look like them physically and try to do them to get started, but I don't think of anybody that you look like physically. You're unique in a way.
I thought Lauren Hardy was the greatest of all comedy teams. It's really, you know, you think a little bit about everybody, and certain ones have certain qualities that appeal to you.
Yeah. Marty, you just seem like a naturally funny guy, too. You mentioned Hackett. I'd kind of put you in that category just after talking with you for a few minutes. You just seem naturally funny. You must have days, though, when nothing strikes you funny, maybe even weeks on end when nothing new really strikes you as funny. Is that true?
Well, yeah, there are times you just sit and you say, you know, well, what's funny? You have to try and find things that appeal to the natural instincts of people, and you just go at it, and then sometimes it's you try to do topical humor, and then some of the things that's in the news you don't even want to know about. So you have to try to find that humor and be prepared to try to find something, because I think there's always something that you can find that'll take the humor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you just can't be serious. Of course, you can't be funny all the time. You got to have moments of seriousness. If you're funny all the time, you go bananas.
Something wrong there, then.
You just look for things like, you know, in the news, and then try to find what's going on in the world and apply it to your humor. In fact, I was thinking about it. If they have a woman in the White House, we could save a lot of money because she'd buy the missiles when they were on sale. You know, and you just take whatever's happening and like they told me this morning, Jerry Lewis is going to have his own television talk show. And I said he's going to have a problem because he'll keep stopping the entertainment to see how much money's coming in.
That could be, huh?
You know, you find humor in those kind of things.
Little switches here and there if you do it. I don't know what the secret is. You know, I don't know if it's easier to entertain people now. It seems like the American public is looking for humor maybe all the time. I don't know, but I've heard people say, well, in fact, Bob and Ray came out and they said that they thought America had lost its sense of humor to a degree. I don't know if that's true or not. It's hard to judge, even maybe your own personal popularity.
Some of the people we have been putting in office, we are not losing our sense of humor. There's no way. No, I don't. I think America has a great sense of humor. And listen, we're the only country in the world, thank God, this is the greatest country because we can make fun of everybody. There's nobody that's not a target.
We can, but can the president?
Well, that was an unfortunate incident.
Now, really, we were talking about that the other day, and I wonder from your vantage point of it, do you think that would have been a funny line if it had been delivered by anybody else? Or maybe it would have been funnier if it had been the president, had it not been...
If he would have done it probably in a speech, but not on the radio, because they pick up off of that. They're looking just for any kind of an excuse to say that he wants to start a war or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he was doing it knowing President Reagan. I think he did it as a, really as a joke, and he wasn't looking to have a double meaning out of it. And unfortunately, they pick up on it.
Yeah.
But if he would have said it like at a convention or something, it would have been probably funnier.
Yeah.
But laying it out on the line like that, and then it gives the Russians a chance to say, "Oh yeah, sure, he isn't kidding," or whatever. But that's what it is, We do have humor, and we try to find things that are funny because, listen, it isn't easy. The everyday tensions and the everyday problems of everyday living is not easy. So
I was going to say that has to be tough for a comedian too. A relatively successful.
I have written a thing that I have on my wall. I said the most wasted day of all is that on which we have not laughed. Which is true. You have to find something during the day to get through a day. And perhaps somebody listens to your show, they're driving, and we say something, and they pick up on it, and they start to laugh, and they go home and say, "Hey, I was listening to Ken Behrens, and Marty Allen said this," and, it just, it's just that way how it comes about.
Yeah, I was thinking probably the toughest job in the world, though, is for a young comic to start out, maybe starving, not making any money at all, and you're supposed to make people laugh.
Yeah, well, I used to think about that. You walk out in the club, and there's a guy there, he had a bad day at the office, his stocks went down, and the boss belted him or whatever, and he's looking at this kid as if it's this kid's fault. Or the guy's there with a girl, and the girl is laughing at the kid, and the guy's trying to make the girl, and he hates the kid because he thinks the kid's stopping him from that.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many angles. You're playing upon people's emotions, and that's what makes it crazy. That's what gets everybody just nuts.
What keeps you?
We were talking, how great the Olympics was. That was fabulous. It was one of the greatest things ever happened for us. Because it was just unbelievable. It was incredible.
People were actually willing to take the time to sit down and watch television for many hours, really.
I said 25% of the Polish people favored the Russians pulling out of the Olympics, and 100% of the Polish people favored the Russians pulling out of Poland. So, you gotta find your humor where it is.
Yeah.
You gotta get. And Reagan, President Reagan, if he was smart, a good way for him to get the country out of debt, he should have let his daughter marry Johnny Carson for a year. That would have been...
and let her divorce him.
And then go for the divorce. It's just unbelievable. You got to find the humor.
Yeah. Well, you do, and really, humor runs along the lines of tragedy, doesn't it?
The line between Ken, the line between comedy and tragedy is a very thin line. And people say, well, how can you say that? Because, where can you find humor in tragedy? In a sense you can, because you have to have that, well, like, to give you an instance, and I can base it on, like, personal tragedy, is when I lost my wife, and
she passed away.
Sat down with me, and, as time goes on, you heal, and things happen. Now I found a new wife and everything,
Mm-hmm.
But they said that a guy was coming home from the cemetery. He's sitting with his best friend, and he's crying. And the guy says, listen, I know it's tough. You lost your wife and everything. And he says, eventually time will help you, and you'll find somebody else. And the guy looks up. He said, yeah, but what about tonight? It sounds crazy, but...
I heard this on it was an old Paul Lynde recording.
What?
He said he'd been on a camping trip or a safari to Africa.
Yeah.
And on the trip, the cannibals captured, killed, and ate his wife.
Yeah.
But the thing he remembered most about the trip...
Oh, Jesus. That's fun. That would be Paul, because I remember I used to sit next to him.
Yeah.
He'd come out with the most outlandish kind of thing.
Well, anyway, humor is one of those things you almost have to... Do you consider yourself kind of a jokesmith, Marty?
The what?
Do you consider yourself kind of a jokesmith, always looking for that humor and trying to... they say there's only so many ways you can make a joke. There's, 7 different ways that jokes can be formed? But
Yeah, I was thinking, like I said, due on the high reading of the Richter scale, San Francisco has officially been declared a ride.
Now, I like that kind of stuff. That's genuine funny stuff, I think.
Yeah, and then you say that in China, the McDonald's, they opened a McDonald's restaurant there, and it says over 8 billion sold this week. So you pick up the humor from the things that are going on.
Yeah. Well, you're a real talent. I'm really glad to see you guys together.
By the way, you wouldn't be in Las Vegas, would you?
Well, not today.
Because Steve and I are opening in Las Vegas at the new Maxim Hotel on Labor Day. We'll be there for 4 weeks.
Hey, that's going to be great. We do sponsor a trip. When was our next one we're going to have? I think probably around February or so we're going to be going to Las Vegas. But you won't be around there then, will you?
Well, listen, I could go there and wait for you.
Would you? Also, you don't do colleges, do you?
Huh?
You don't entertain at colleges, do you?
No, I haven't done. But, asked me to do. I was going to do those before I got back with Steve, but we may end up doing something like that.
That's always kind of fun. We have 2 in town. We have Illinois State University and Illinois Wesleyan. So, if you ever decide to do the college circuits, maybe we can get you to town that way.
Out there?
I'm what?
Is that your home?
Well, no, well, this is where we are now, right here in...
Where are you from originally?
Oh, near Chicago, a little town called Peatone.
Yeah, I had started a tour during, I had played the Great Lakes Naval Station.
Oh, yeah.
And I had done a lot of things around Chicago. It's a great city.
Don't you find that the TV exposure really helps? Because there are some people, it's hard to believe, but there are people out here who don't remember the Beatles, some young people, and now, some of them are going to find you fellas to be a real treat. They're going to discover you for the first time.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing, but the impact of television, it's just tremendous, because the next day you walk down the street and people say, oh, we saw you. Like I do that one show every year for CBS, Circus of the Stars. And every time I'm on, it's just, oh, you were funny with that animal or whatever.
Yeah. You know what, we talked about this the other day, and I don't mean to change the subject, but there are so many different alternatives now between HBO and music television and Cinemax and Showtime and all the rest of them. It used to be you could get on a network television show and have a chance of reaching at least a third of the people who are watching TV. Now it's getting harder to get that same consensus, isn't it?
Yeah. In fact, I recently was married, and I married a very lovely girl. Her name is Katie Blackwell. She's from Mississippi, and She sings and plays the piano, and I said, it'll be hysterical. She'll get a hit record, and Steve and I will open the show for her.
That'd be great.
I said, I hope you'll allow us to do at least 20 minutes.
This is your wife you're talking to.
Yeah.
I'd hope she would. Marty, it's a pleasure to visit with you. All the best of luck. I'm glad you're back together.
Really appreciate, and I love your tongue, and I hope you get a chance to get out there.
Yeah. Are there any albums we can look forward to or anything like that?
You know, we've done so many. Now they're asking us about coming back and doing a nostalgic type album, and see, or do an album with the update stuff we got going now.
Yeah. Well, you're a funny man, and I enjoy you.
Thank you, Ken. Very kind.
I'm here with you.
You'd like me to play what?
The Curly Shuffle.
Oh, the Curly Shuffle.
Yeah.
Something to get your rhythm going today.
Right.
Monday's dragging so far.
Right,
Yeah,
right. That'll get everything going.
I'll see what I can do for you.
Okay, bye-bye.
WJBC, good morning.
Hi, is this Ken Behrens?
Yeah,
I was just listening to your conversation with Marty Allen,
yeah.
and I'm surprised he didn't make a joke about the name of the town you were from. Like, if you can't whistle, Peatone.
Yeah.
Are
you from there?
From Mantino. So
Oh, are
I
you?
remember that joke.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes about it, right?
Yeah, I was waiting for him to say something about it.
Okay. Thanks for the call.
Sure.
What are you doing down here? You living down here now?
Yeah.
Did you go to school and just
Yeah, I
sort of
went
stay?
to ISU and decided to stay.
Yeah, a lot of us do that, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your name?
Marcia Senna.
Marcia?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thanks for the call.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.